Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Olio. This is Season 4, Episode 3, Rest. Today, if you are watching the live stream of the podcast recording, you may notice a few things. First of all, I have left some extra room today. The camera is very far away, and I'm just kind of here on the couch. I've got a blanket with me. I have some water I was just drinking. And we're here just kind of relaxing today. Also, the podcast normally goes live at 10 in the morning on Tuesdays. Today, right now, it's about 1:30 in the afternoon. And what we did today is, I guess I'll start with some context. So yesterday, I hung out with my brother Logan, and he came over to my house, and we just kind of hung out and played games, chatted for a while. And I mean, when we were originally planning on hanging out, we were thinking about maybe working on some music stuff together, maybe working on some of the big project we have going on, a gaming project coming out over the summer. We were going to maybe do some work on that together, and develop some ideas and things. And when he got here, we were more inclined to just kind of hang out. And when we opened up everything, or kind of going to get started working on everything, we were just like feeling tired and maybe a little overworked with everything we've got going on. He's very busy with school and work and all those things going on. And I've also been busy with work and other creative endeavors that I've really been pouring a lot into. And so instead, we decided to just rest. And so we played games, we hung out, we chatted, we watched videos and TikToks and had some good laughs and just had a really nice evening. And he stayed the night here. He slept on the couch, and I was over in bed. And when we woke up, I told him, hey, I have Olio at 10 in the morning. And we woke up at 9, and we were both just like, let's just relax. Let's just continue this rest for us. I think it's really needed. And so we went to Dunkin' Donuts and got some sandwiches and drinks and things like that, and we just rested. You know, we didn't work on anything, and it was really nice. It was really good to just kind of hang out with my brother and not have an agenda of things that we needed to do, but we just went with it. And so today I'm again far away from the camera. I have my microphone in my hand today. I'm kind of laying back here on the couch. I have a blanket with me. It is lovely weather outside. I have the windows open. It's like probably 60 degrees right now or close to it. I'm wearing cozy clothes. I didn't try to kind of get my appearance even all fixed up. I'm just in this kind of restful state of mind, and I wanted to talk about that today because I think it's been a really prevalent topic in my life the past couple of weeks as I've been navigating, going from being a student with a bit of work on the side to now pretty much fully working and some creative things mixed and interweaved in there too. So I want to talk about my relationship with rest, and how all of that has been going. So to kind of get us into this, I'd kind of like to start with where I think I really had to start, I would say coming out of the pandemic, or not out of the pandemic, but as we all started to reemerge out of our houses, is when I kind of had to recalibrate everything. I think we all did. And going into it, surely we did as well. We went from doing all of our normal daily activities and things to, having almost too much rest in a way. It felt like anyways, right? It felt like we were all cooped up and not able to do much. And that's because we were, right? But I think the way that I looked at quarantine and all that going into it was an opportunity for rest. And that was probably one of the first times when I started to kind of shift my perspective. And I tried to, instead of feeling trapped and closed in and claustrophobic in a way in my house, I tried to look at it as a way to give myself some healthy rest from all of the things that I had going on in my life. Because we weren't able to go anywhere. And so I guess it kind of worked out that way, that I felt like that was the easiest way to kind of look at it, right? So, even in that at the beginning, I was fighting it, right? Because instead of allowing that rest to kind of happen, I was fighting it and trying to do things at my house when we were in quarantine, right? I was like trying to fill my time with, all different activities and things from home that I could do to try and make, to kind of pour my energy into, because I felt like I had so much energy and nowhere to release it all. So I just tried to do a whole bunch of things at once during quarantine, and I eventually burned myself out during quarantine when we were just at home. And then I was thinking about this and I was like, well, why am I doing this to myself? If I have the opportunity to rest, to heal, to just, why wouldn't I use that? And I tried to, and I think I learned pretty well how to kind of manage that and look after myself a little bit during quarantine. I tried to learn that, rest is a necessity. As people, we need that. And I can't just go out and continue to do things and push myself, or I'm going to end up in a place where I'm not comfortable anymore. Now, coming out of COVID, or again, coming out of quarantine, I should say, and now, say, moving into in-person college for my last semester here last fall, I again had to recalibrate. And because I was thrown into a whole different schedule. And I'd say I didn't do the best job through that, which is okay. We all experience kind of working too much and putting too much on yourself and feeling a little bit of burnout from that. And yeah, it's just can be, it can be tough, right? As we're experiencing so much. I just saw a chat in live from Sumik. Says hello. Welcome to Olio. We are kind of chatting today about rest. It was tough, and so I think where things for me really started to get difficult though were after I moved out of school, because school and having a rigid schedule, that's the thing that I think it really comes down to. Having a rigid schedule that isn't defined by you kind of blocks out spots and times for you to have rest and spots and times where you can't have that, right? So if you have a work schedule, you're going to be very oriented on doing, you're going to be up and at it doing work on the days you're scheduled, and days that you aren't, you'll probably be feeling tired and you'll have rest there. So with school, that's kind of naturally like, okay, throughout the week and then the weekend, right? For me, when I moved out of school and I was kind of on my own, this December onward till now, it's currently early April, the time of recording. I no longer had a rigid schedule. The only thing that was defined for me was work. But even that, I almost got to pick, because it was like I tried to, I had the flexibility now. I had nothing going on in my schedule, no school, no nothing. The only thing was work, right? So coming out of school and into my own stuff, I was pretty much just saying, okay, so every single day I'm not going to have a schedule and I'll just do whatever comes my way, right? I see another message from Diamond Rose. Hello. Welcome. Welcome. And so I had every single day open, and I allowed the folks who are at my work to just kind of say, okay, you can schedule me any day you want. And with that, I will make a YouTube video, or I'll make a music, thing, or I'll do a live stream. Like when I was first doing my first round of Animal Crossing streams on the YouTube channel here. I'll just do it whenever I feel like it. Right? And I'll work pretty much just whenever they schedule me. They can schedule me any day, pretty much any time, and I'll just make it work. Now, in theory, that's a nice way to look at it. And I was very, I'm a very flexible person. So I'm just like, yeah, whatever it is, we'll work with it. Right? But what ended up happening is every single day, there was so much being kind of thrown at me that I had no consistency and no room for rest. Any day that I was at home and not working, I was like, boom, got to get on the grind, got to make a YouTube video, got to produce this, got to work on this, got to develop this. So I was working, and then any day that I wasn't working, I was just doing anything else to fill my time. Got to run these errands, got to do these things. And it was every single day, and I had no consistency because I work at a restaurant, so that's open on the weekends too. So it was just literally every day I could either be working or I would be filling it with other things. And in the last few months, what happened is I was feeling really burnt out. And I had very little motivation to do anything. I wanted to do them, and that's what it brings you into this weird spot, right? Because as a creator, for me, I would see other people creating things, and when you're a creator, you gravitate towards that. You're like, oh, I want to make something. I want to do that too. I see a message from, I believe, Miguel. Hello. Welcome to the stream today. We are kind of chatting about rest and how important it is. I felt like I just wasn't doing a good job at managing that in my life because I was filling up so much. But as a creator, right, we gravitate towards wanting to make things when we see other people when other people making things, especially, and this is kind of some of the side effects of social media playing into things, where I would see people who are doing really well, who are creating things, and that makes me want to create things. I want to do that. But I would be so burnt out and tired that I physically couldn't get up to go do that. And so it put me in this really vicious cycle where I wanted to make things, I wanted to do things, I wanted to occupy my time, or even go out with friends. Because again, I'd be seeing things or hearing things about my friends doing things that are fun, and I'm like, I want that for me. But I would be so burnt out because I would be so busy filling every second of my spare time with activities and things. So there was a couple weeks, really just in the past few weeks here, where I was just down and out. And even when I was out doing things and even with work, I was feeling not good. Very kind of depressive, and I wasn't finding interest in a lot of things, and I felt very sunken in. Do you know that feeling when if you've ever had it where maybe you're really overtired, or your brain just isn't functioning correctly? I don't know if you ever had the feeling where it's you feel like if you stubbed your foot, or if you barely tripped on something while you were walking, your brain might not react fast enough to be able to stop you from completely falling. I know it's a weird analogy or a weird description, but I feel like that's the best way I can describe the feeling. Brain fog. And even at work and things, I felt very distant. I was not able to have very personal conversations with people. And I didn't know how to get out of that. I was really stuck for a while, the past couple of weeks. And it was just like, oh, what am I doing? You know? And again, I wanted to create, I wanted to make, but I couldn't. I didn't have the energy for it. So the first step that I did to try and combat this is force myself to rest, because I wasn't willing to do it. I'm a very workaholic person in a way, like I've been saying. Like, I'm very, I want to get things done. I want to check things off of a list. I'm very task oriented. So what did I do? I gave myself a task of rest. Right. So now one of the things I have to complete in a day is rest, to kind of try and trick myself, right, into taking time to bring it down. Things were getting so bad where there were a few nights coming on that I would be in a very, I just saw, on a completely unrelated note, I just saw one of those, what are they called? The bicycles that have two people on them? Like two people on the same bicycle just went by. That was really cool. Okay, sorry. I just got distracted. That was really cool. What was I saying again? Oh, yeah. I was forcing myself to rest and try and give myself that opportunity. And things were getting so bad to the point where there would be certain nights and things after a long day where I would be so burnt out that I would kind of start to have a little bit of a panic attack thing happen to me, where I would start to feel it come on. Now, I'm on anxiety medication to combat those full-scale panic attacks. And there were a couple nights where it was really tough to, like, bring the heart rate down and bring the shaking down and, like, the weird headaches and get that to all calm down, because my brain was like a TV remote clicking through the channels really fast, just going this. And here's all the things you need to get done. Go, 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 go. But of course I couldn't do those things because I was so tired. So it was just a really awful feeling. So forcing myself to rest was the first step of saying, so at least giving myself the gratification of, okay, you're completing tasks, right? And rest is a task, right? Rest is a task is what I've been telling myself, is like, okay, do this. And what it took the form as, in the first little while was, okay, let's sit down and I would even tell my friends, I'd be like, all right, here's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to, before work today, right? Before work at 4 p.m. or whatever, I'm going to sit at my house in pajamas and I'm going to play Kirby. I'm going to play my Switch. I'm going to play video games. Or I'm going to watch TV or just sit on my phone, whatever. I'm going to force myself to do that until work, because I need that time to physically relax, and mentally relax, right? I need that time. And then when I go into work, I'll be much more refreshed. Right? Because I wouldn't be forcing myself to do things to take up all that time. I'll be doing good. Right? And that was a great first move, I think, to get me at least thinking about that, thinking about rest, thinking about how it makes me feel and how I can manage everything else going on. And again, this was still when I was taking things day-to-day basis, just like each day work could schedule me any day and I could be doing anything any day. So then after I was realizing that, and I was starting to, that made me feel better, right? So I was like, okay, how can I elevate this? How can I continue this? How can I bring this forward? And the next move for me was going to my work and going to YouTube and my creative outlets and saying, okay, here's my plan. For work, you can schedule me any day, any time, except Tuesday and Thursday. If it's the weekends, if it's the rest of the week, if it's other days, whatever. for now, for the spring, moving into it, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, and those days are off from work. I went to YouTube and said, okay, now instead of forcing myself to kind of build a bunch of things and do a bunch of stuff and try and, because what would end up happening is I would make a bunch of projects when I'd be going, and I would put them all out, and then there'd be dead space of nothing for weeks or even months. So I went on YouTube and I released a video saying, here's my schedule. If I make a whole bunch of videos, if I make 3 videos in 3 days, I'm not going to release them 1, 2, 3, like 3 days, boom, 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 as they get completed. No, I'm going to schedule this out and give myself small goal deadlines of saying, all right, I'm going to have a video out on YouTube every single week on Wednesdays. That's it, at least, right? And if I had another video laying around, I've done this a couple times where now I'm finding I have more time to do things. So I'm putting out maybe a second one on Fridays, just if I have one to put out. And a couple weeks I have, right? So I'll do one on Wednesday, one on Friday. And then I said, okay, Tuesdays are my day off from work, so I'll do Olio on that day. So I do Olio in the morning, and then that's it for my Tuesday. I don't do anything else. I start with Olio, which is a great way, this podcast, as well as I hope it's enjoyable to listen to. It is a fantastic way for me to unload and unpack what is going on in my head and just put it out in the open. I would say more than anything, it is a really therapeutic way. It's a very therapeutic thing for me to be able to be here and talk about what's going on up here. So I said, okay, on Tuesdays I have Olio in the morning, and then that's my entire Tuesday. The rest of Tuesday is I can, do whatever I need to do. I can be low that day. I don't have to do anything. My goal is to probably leave the house as least as possible on Tuesdays, or like go maybe walk somewhere outside, have the day of a no commitment type of day, to just do whatever I need to do. Play video games, listen to music, relax. I have pajamas on still at 1:30, almost 2 now in the afternoon. I have a blanket here. Just allowing that to happen. And Thursdays were my days where I have nothing all the way up until a fun live stream during the night that I can do and play a video game with friends or with an audience, and that's it. So now versus before, where I had every day could be anything. I could wake up and have work and then this, and then I had to run this errand and then go here. And some of that being spontaneous is okay. Like on those other days I have open and things, like, of course, totally fine. But now I at least have some rigidity in my schedule of saying Tuesdays and Thursdays I'm not working. I get to do my podcast where I get to kind of unpack everything going on Tuesdays, and then Thursday nights I get to live stream at night. And that gives me opportunities in there to rest. And so now kind of the last step, the final phase that I'm still working on right now, I'm still developing, is I'm trying to switch my mindset from forcing me to rest, like giving me a to-do, like my to-do today is to rest. Instead of giving myself the to-do of rest, I'm trying to change that to say, instead of forcing myself to rest, how about I try and allow myself to rest, right? How about I try to let myself rest versus saying, okay, you have to do this right now. What if I just was able to completely, breathe, take a breath, and be like, all right, let's just let this enter me, right? And let myself be nourished by having rest, and let it, fulfill me and energize me naturally without me even having to try to force that to happen. So that is my goal right now. I'm trying to plug along with that, and I think the first, I think so far so good with that last piece of trying to allow myself to rest, because that's what, me and my brother last night, like I was talking about at the very beginning of this podcast, allowed ourselves to do. He came here and we were going to work on a whole bunch of stuff. And we were like, you know what? No. No. I see a comment from Sam that says that's a good shift in tension. Thank you, man. I think it's probably the best way that we, and Sam, I know, not to speak for you too much here, but I know we connect a lot on the workaholic nature. You and I both. I know you and I have worked on so many things together, and we have a very similar nature. And I think, and I know we've had discussions about this too, but I'm just saying, like, trying to allow that to happen versus force it to happen has been so good. And, yeah, again, like last night, we just didn't work on anything. We were like, let's just rest. This morning, I woke up. Olio is normally right at 10 in the morning, and I have everything set up. My camera's nice and everything is good. I'm dressed. I'm here with my microphone, and I have it on a stand, and I'm very formal. But today I was like, it was 10 a.m., and I was like, I'll do it later. Let's take the morning. We went to Dunkin's. We rested. We had fun. We talked. We listened to music. And he left right before I started this podcast. And I was like, all right, I think I want to talk about rest today. Right before he left, I was like, yeah, I think that's what I want to talk about. And so here we are. Before we close things today, as always, I want to get you thinking just a little bit. I always like to ask a very basic, kind of high level question at the end of every podcast, of just a very, a very basic question that you can answer with yes or no, right? Like you could just give yourself an answer, but it's really more of a rhetorical question. And I've been trying to end each podcast with one. So just to get you thinking, do you feel like you have enough rest in your life, or do you feel like you're incorporating enough rest into your life? And if you are, or if you aren't, the rest that you are getting, do you feel like you are forcing it or you're allowing it? Think about that. Are you forcing it or allowing it? Now, if you're forcing it to happen, that's good. You're taking initiative and you're looking out for yourself, and you're putting it out there of saying, okay, I need rest. You're recognizing that, and you're booking that time out for yourself, and that's good. And for those of you who are in that boat, I would maybe encourage that you try and even take that further step of just, like Sam said here in chat, changing your intention of just allowing that now. Give it a shot and see how it makes you feel. Maybe something that you had planned that maybe you didn't need to do, but something you needed, maybe you were wanting to get done. Just try, if you wake up or you're getting ready and you're like, I feel like I need to rest, then just maybe try and allow it. See what happens. Yeah. And I just saw another message here that Sam was also saying sometimes you have to initially force to slip into being able to relinquish control and accept rest. Exactly. I totally agree. And I think if we're forcing it here, like if you're in that boat of forcing it, again, like that is a great place to be, and that's where I was, right? I was forcing it to happen, but then just recently I'm finally realizing that, we can allow it, like Sam said here, relinquish that control, give it a shot. Because, in my experience, it feels really good. It feels really good. So give it a try. Yeah. I think that is pretty much the bulk of what I wanted to cover today here on Olio. Of course, if you have any questions, you want to have further discussion, you want to dig into this, you can reach out to me in any way that, the myriad of ways that are available. If you know me personally, you can, shoot me a message. If you don't, there's plenty of, Instagram links, whatever. You can message me and let's talk about it, man. Because, we're all human. We all need rest. And, it's a part of life. So, thank you for tuning in to this week's Olio. Whether you're here watching on stream or listening to the recording later, thank you. Thank you for, taking the time to try it out. Try to incorporate that rest. Thank you for doing that. I think your body and your mind and yourself will be thankful as well. Yeah. Once again, that's pretty much all. Thank you again. And, yeah. With that, I will see you all in tomorrow's video. It's a very special one. So stay tuned, and I'll see you then. Peace.